see. Okay.
What do you want us to do? Say our names?
Yeah, say it. See if,
Okay. You're
Old.
Ronan Martin,
older all
right?
the time.
Ronan Martin's laughing.
Yeah, I'm Dick Block. This is,
I'm Nick Ulrich.
yeah,
Howdy.
And
Class
you want this?
65.
we're both graduates
66.
of Aurora High School. I'm 66, he's 65.
Okay.
And I started out at St. Mary's. Good old St. Mary's.
Okay.
This is my school here, Southside. Good old Mr. Cairns, he was our principal there.
Parents, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Used to play ball up there in the Mary Stratton Field on 5th Street. Good heavens. That place is so small, I don't know how we ever played ball there. And kept the ball in the park. Yeah.
I've been there. It's right across from where I grew up. So.
That's right.
I
Yeah,
don't
your
have a
house
lot
is
of
right there by
fond
the park.
memories. St. Mary's there, so glad those 8 years went by. And now I went to.
Well, you had that asphalt like we did when we played up there. Asphalt,
Yeah,
basketball goal, and
Yeah.
Yeah, well, St. Mary's, that was probably 8 years of beatings.
That was pretty much it, yeah.
Hi.
It was a 4-room schoolhouse.
oh,
First and second, 7th and 8th, 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th.
is it the one with the pictures of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you go to kindergarten?
No, I was too far advanced for that.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, when I was little, I was fascinated because my parents could read and write. They would read the newspaper all the time. And I wanted to learn, and so my mother taught me how to read and write. And so I could read and write before I could get in kindergarten. And when I got in kindergarten, I mean, all that stuff was boring to me. And I would goof off the entire day in class. And every day, I had Mrs. Hotmeyer for my teacher. Every day I was punished. Every day. Without fail.
That explains a lot.
And she ran out of things, ways to punish me, see?
Yeah.
So one day she put me out in the hallway. She said, I'll
Right.
just put you out in the hallway. And so I thought, oh, what the heck? So I just left. Well, she came out to get me and I was gone. Well, you can imagine, we've lost a child, you know? So she calls my mother at home and she answers the phone, my mother did, and they ask, is your son at home? And she says, well, yes, he just walked in the door. She says, well, send him back. And of course, Mr. Cairns got to paddle me that day, which was not so much out of the way.
You get down there, you
But
get
yeah, he and I became great friends. I used to pick his pocket all the time because he carried that ping pong ball paddle in his pocket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
With-
and that's what he used to paddle the kids with.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I would always sneak that paddle out of his pocket and then take it up and put it on his desk in his office. And he knew it was me.
Well, I got one for Nikki because Steve was trying to figure this out. Turner, where was that school located? Was it right, because of the picture we have up here, was it right where the new school was built pretty much, or?
Pretty much so. The alleyway up there between the Presbyterian Church and that alley actually went up alongside the old school there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Then there was the nun's house, which was a little wooden house, and it was right next to the church.
Sorry.
So it was a little, it's not where it was. It wasn't attached like this one.
Yeah. There's nuns, they didn't like, I know one thing, they didn't like no shirts. You'd always tell somebody, you can't take your shirt off when you play.
Oh,
Somebody would always do that. They'd come out,
yeah, shirts and skins.
please put your shirt back on. But anyway, those years went by quick
Oh,
at St.
gosh,
Mary's.
not quick enough.
Who'd you have as classmate? A couple of them that went with you.
Well, let's see. We had the whole Turner clan.
Okay.
There was one in about every grade, I think.
Okay.
You have to ask Steve.
I don't think anybody would admit being in school with him.
Neffs and there was a bunch of us that hung out together and all that. But,
Okay.
going over to the high school, I think was
Now, what year did you both scouts? What year? How old were you when you started scouts? I can't remember because you two were both. You went all the way
I was
through.
11, yeah.
11. So
Well, I was 8. I went to Cub Scouts. I
okay.
was never a Cub Scout.
No.
Because that's been a big part of, not to get off the high school, but that was a big part of both of you, has been, and for a long
I'll
time.
tell you what, joining scouts prior to going into high school and all that, when I got over there, I knew all those guys from the troop and stuff.
Yeah.
And that made it a lot easier for a kid like from St. Mary's that didn't know anybody.
And you had Buck's discipline, so you were already disciplined, so you kept
Well,
them.
yeah, between the Buck and the nuns, I was over-disciplined, I think.
It was 1956 when I joined the Cub Scouts. The only reason I could get in Cub Scouts is because my mother had to be a den mother, you know.
Right.
And unless you had the den mother, there was no dens, and so there was no Cub Scouts.
Yeah.
And it's still pretty much that way today.
Yeah.
You got to have volunteers to run it.
Yeah, you guys have people that are helping you that are younger
But
now.
we've been in the Scouts ever since. I mean, we've been 60 plus years.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful thing, I know.
Yeah. Seen a lot of. We've raised a lot of kids.
Yeah.
You know, our Boy Scout builds character. That's our goal, to build character. And we have changed a lot of kids. You'd be surprised how many backward kids and shy kids and bashful kids that have just come out of their shell, you know, and have gone on to prominent positions in the communities and colleges and professions. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Judges, doctors,
Judge
lawyers.
Whitty, you were
Whitty,
talking about earlier.
yeah, he was in there.
John Baker, another judge.
John was, yeah, with my brother Bob, yeah, there.
We've had guys,
Blitz pros, pharmacists,
doctors, and all that stuff.
veterinarians. Yeah.
Then there's Dick and I. So.
Yeah.
Well, you both got, did you get your Eagles? Did you?
Yes.
Yeah, both of you did, see?
Yeah.
What year did you get your
I got
Eagles?
my Eagle in 63.
63.
Okay.
I got mine in 65.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the only, as far as I know, I'm the highest ranking scout here. Because I had all three palms on top of my eagle.
Okay. What were the palms?
Well, there are 5 merit badges above eagle per palm. So I had all 3 palms. That's 15 additional merit badges above the 21. You know, which was very hard to do.
Yeah, a lot of time consuming
And you
because
had
a lot
to
of
do it
them
before
were.
you're 18.
Yeah, well, a lot of them were with the, you know, you had to go out into the town or whatever and do your civic duties. That's what I'm trying to get at. You know, a lot of them.
Well, we're still doing, you know, that's a big part of scouting, is the citizenship, that sort of thing. Doing your good turn and that sort of thing, and helping out the town, helping out your church, helping out all these outfits, you know. And not for money, not, you know, just doing your good deed for the day, more or less.
Right. It's hard to come by anymore, yeah.
Teaches the kids, though, I think, it's a good way to go.
Yeah.
It's hard to teach them work ethics because of all these darn video games and stuff. Everybody's got these smartphones, and these kids would rather sit around and play on those than go out and do something outdoors.
I know.
And it's really aggravating. We virtually have to take the phones away from them when we have an outing.
And they don't even realize what's out there. I didn't until, well, I was lucky enough to get in, even though I wasn't through Scouts, didn't get all the way through. I got lucky enough to get into backpacking through people and go out and enjoy it, you know, and through
John,
the
there's a
80s.
lot of guys that don't go all the way through Scouts and get their Eagle and stuff. But everybody I've ever talked to, regardless of how long they were in, they always had some fun thing that they remembered, some good thing, and something that may have helped them.
Yeah, I do, and
There you go.
through the years that I was there, even though I didn't get all the way through.
As generations keep going on, we get a lot of the kids that are now parents bringing their children to the Scouts.
Yeah,
And a
you
lot
probably
of them
got like the
didn't make
4th
Eagle.
generation by now at least.
A lot of them that didn't make Eagle are sort of regretting, well, I didn't get an Eagle, but I want my son to get his Eagle. So,
How hard was it to mix this and get it into the high school a little bit? When you got into high school, I mean, you got the polls, you're doing that, but you keep doing it, but you got the polls of high school going on and hanging out at the high school and doing things.
You know, it's like anything in this old life. If you want something bad enough, you got to earn it.
Yeah.
Now, there were 2 things that I wanted in high school more than anything. One was to letter in football and get that A jacket, and one was to become an Eagle Scout. Well, I accomplished both of them.
Yeah.
I know where my Eagle Scout medal is now. I can't find my A jacket to see.
Yeah, right.
But that was what was important to me. And you find time, you know, to make the meetings, to make the practices, the games, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You just have to find the time to do it.
well, we had a lot of boys in the troop that our age, that we were in the troop. They're also in sports, but they still found time to come and participate in
What's the
scouts.
meeting like on a Monday night? Is it still Monday night?
is.
Which
Yeah.
is a
Till
good.
Monday, 7 to 9.
Yeah, that was always a good night
I
before
missed a
everything.
lot of gun smokes.
Yeah. See, I was watching not
Thank God
reruns. They
for
were
Me
still on.
TV now.
Yeah, you can
finally
catch up
it
on all of them.
50 years later. You know.
That's great. Yeah, all those shows.
It's hard for the Boy Scouts to compete with the sports now because there are more sports. You've got soccer now, you've got tennis, you've got golf teams, you've got archery,
Yeah.
and all this stuff. Well, my grandson's involved in rifle shooting, and he's one of the state champions.
Yeah.
And we never had those things,
No.
you know.
3 sports back then. pretty
Oh
much.
yeah, and volleyball teams too. You know. Oh my gosh, we never had all those.
Yeah.
You know, it'd have been tough.
Well, what
tougher
did you do in high school besides, did you, I knew what Nicky just said he did. Did you do sports any, or did you do?
No, I was smart enough to stay out of football, so I didn't
Yeah.
wind up with a bum shoulder like Nick has.
Me too.
you
I got
know,
all my injuries later.
or injured legs.
But
or
did you
all
do
these
like
kind of
the
things.
industrial arts end more, or whatever the
Yeah, I did.
activities?
I did a lot of industrial arts and engineering drafting.
Who was a teacher back
Very
then?
good at that. Old
Bob Shelby.
Bob Shelby, of course.
Uncle Shelby.
We were just talking about that earlier about
I've heard stories
how
about
the
him. He was-
teachers can't punish the children now.
Yeah.
You know, when we used to get swats and wrapped at the back of the head, you
Yeah,
know, and things
yeah.
like this. And I think that we were that we should have more of that now to make the children more disciplined.
Yeah.
That's for sure, because they sit there and pull stuff that we would never do.
The structure
And think,
in
well,
there.
what are they going to do? You know, call my parents or.
Yeah. Which, how do you
Something
guys
like
handle that in the scouts then?
Oh,
Well,
we'll
we
lead on.
let
Yeah.
we let some of the other kids that aren't 18 beat them up or whatever it takes to straighten them out. Say, hey, look, he's in your patrol, he's your problem. Straighten him out. We can't do it because we're adults.
Well, you could do
know.
like Buck. I told Nicky when we went down and we were somebody's making faces down at down at Smokies, where the guy was showing slides. Well, he told Buck, and we all had to sit there at Cherokee when we went over to Cherokee. We had to sit and on the bus and talk about why we shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Why everybody else went out and bought whatever they wanted to buy.
We still do things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's,
that hurts.
well,
Yeah, lesson.
that's the whole idea.
Life lesson.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
But they learn, I think, most of them gradually learn. Some of them are a little thick-headed like
So-
I was. You know.
So did you guys enjoy, probably like I did, I'm sure you did, but being here in this small town at the time when you guys grew up, and then I did.
Well, I was pretty much of a loner when I was in school. When school was out, I'd go home. I didn't participate in any of the sports or band or anything else. I started out in band, but as soon as I found out they wanted you to stay after school and practice, no.
You had other
No,
things
when
to
that
do.
bell rings, I'm gone,
Yeah.
and I'm home, and I grab my gun, turn the dog loose, and to the hills we go.
Coon
And
hunt,
my mom
whatever.
would get out a skillet and set it there on the stove, and she says, whatever you get, that's for supper.
Look at that.
So I'd made a point never come home
Coming
empty-handed.
in,
Yeah.
hand in
And
it,
that's just the way that it was. That's
Yeah.
where we grew up.
just roll that
We had
skin
an
right
outhouse
back.
out back,
Put some ice
you
on
know. We
Where'd
didn't
you
get
grow up,
dial
Jacobs?
telephones.
Or something.
Right here in Aurora.
Put some
I
ice
Lived right up on
Starting to
Market
run
Street
now.
there
Market.
overlooking the river.
Okay, okay.
But we didn't get the dial phones till 1966. And the only reason I remember that is because that's the year I graduated, and hey, we got a dial phone, you know.
Right.
67 when they went to that other 926.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was at Fort Polk, and I went to call home, and I said, 577J. And so, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir, there's no such number. Yeah, there is. I've lived there all my life.
Right, right.
I'm sorry, there isn't. And that was that. I'm standing in this phone booth thinking, well, now what am I going to do?
Yeah. I
It
would get
wasn't
the
until
same
I got a
thing.
letter, you know, with the new phone number that I
Good call. Thank you. Yeah.
It's
I
the
can
same
still-
thing, you know, you had to call the Aurora Exchange and give them the number, because you had four people that had the same number, but you had a J or a R or a W.
Was it a party line type thing too?
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
oh, yeah.
So you knew what the other three families were doing?
Hard to get through sometimes because invariably there was one person on that party line who just loved to talk. And finally, after a while, you just have to say, Betty, I really need to make this phone call. Okay.
Be as nice as you could without being getting them off.
We all knew each other.
You know, when you're on a party line, you're all right in the same area, and so I had a neighbor up the street and a neighbor down the street. They would just pick up the phones every day at like 6 o'clock. You didn't even have to go through the operator. They just pick their phones up and start talking, and they stay on there for an hour or more.
Wow.
So,
A different time, definitely.
and if you had a private line, you had the 4-digit number, no letter behind it. But it was always three numbers and a letter, you know, for
A long way.
a
Which
typical party line.
No more party lines. Everybody got their cell phone now.
Well, what you guys got anything else you want to? You know, I don't want to hold you all day, but we're just trying to get some stuff for the place when we can put it on disc. Probably Dan will put it on that way.
Well,
if
we
you
probably
want.
told you all the lies we can think
Well,
of.
yeah,
I'll wait a minute.
we can come up with some more here.
I don't know.
Make some
Yeah,
more
between the
stuff
two of you, I'd say there's a few more in there. I won't ask you any jokes. No jokes.
No. If you're just asking about, Aurora, the small town stuff, I loved growing up here. And that's, I guess, why I'm still here.
Yep.
I mean, everybody has to go spread their wings for a while, try different things, but you end up coming back and there's some sort of pull there.
I always wanted to go out west, and
Oh, I love it out west. I love to visit all these places, but this is home.
yeah.
Well, I did a lot of traveling, and so I had a lot of time to think and reminisce about things that I did or things that happened when I was growing up. And so I started writing them all down. So eventually then I went ahead and published a book, with a lot of the stories in it.
Oh,
And then I wrote a second book, and I haven't published it yet, but kind of on the fence about whether I'm going to do it or not.
that's great. That's
So
great.
the first one didn't go as well as I thought it would. It's a whole different ballgame when it comes to publishing.
Oh, yeah.
It was an interesting project, it really was, and I enjoyed really doing it.
Right. Well, I want to thank you two for the interview and all the.
You're more than welcome.
I appreciate it. I think the same way. I was a little behind you guys, but I think the same way.
Well, you were in our scout troop for a while.
I was.
Yeah.
We're all Brother Scouts.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thank you.